You ever feel like we're living in a science fiction movie that's slowly becoming real life? Everywhere you look, from artificial intelligence and autonomous driving to robotics and automation, there's this quiet sense that the world is shifting gears into something entirely new. And honestly, I don't think we're at the beginning of that shift anymore. I think we're in it. The robotics era isn't coming, it's here. It's just that right now it's disguised as progress. Now, before you picture metal soldiers and laser eyes like something out of Terminator, I'm not talking about that. What I'm really talking about is a world where machines begin to do what we once thought only people could do, and what that means for energy, for the economy, and for society as a whole. It's crazy to think how fast we've gone from computers that filled entire rooms to AI models that can think, reason, and even create. The reality is, anything is possible. It's just a matter of time, innovation, and whether we're willing to adapt. And if you're looking for someone pushing that frontier more than anyone else right now, it's clearly Tesla. They're not just building cars, they're building a new kind of labor force. Their robot, Optimus, isn't just an experiment. It's a prototype of what's coming. The blending of AI intelligence, mechanical mobility, and human intent. But that raises the question, what value does a robot bring to our lives today? Because yeah, they look impressive. They move a little smoother every few months, but are they actually useful right now? For a business owner like myself, absolutely. I can see massive potential for robotics in the trades. Imagine a solar installation robot that climbs a roof, lifts panels into position, drills perfect penetrations, seals mounts, and wires up everything precisely, every single time. That would be huge for safety, consistency, and speed. But let's not kid ourselves. We're still a few years away from that being a reality. The AI part, sure, that's advancing fast. But the mechanics, the balancing, grip, and the movement, that's an entirely different story. Teaching a machine to walk is one thing. Teaching it to climb a ladder, handle tools, and understand unpredictable job site environments, that's a whole new level. And even if the tech arrives, imagine the insurance applications. Auto insurers already give EV owners headaches. Now picture that form for robotic labor coverage. Yeah, that's going to be fun. For now, home robotics seems like the most practical direction, like cleaning bots, vacuum, robotic lawnmowers, kitchen assistants. Those are cool. But the business model that makes more sense to me isn't ownership, it's subscription. Think about it. Why buy a $20,000 home robot when you could pay a small monthly fee for one to come service your home once a week, like a cleaning crew? That's where I see the near-term adoption. Robots as services, not possessions. And as that happens, we'll start seeing new businesses pop up. Robo-maids, AI gardeners, chefs as a robo. It sounds funny, but it's coming. Now, the elephant in the room, jobs. Every technological evolution brings fear of job loss, and robotics is no exception. But what if robots don't eliminate jobs? What if they transform them? Take Neo from X1. For example, a company where humans remotely operate robots to complete real-world tasks. As they do, the AI learns from them, getting smarter over time. It's a hybrid model that keeps humans in control, provides oversight, and trains the machine in the process. That's where I think the real opportunity lies, not in replacing people, but repositioning them. But it opens up a new question. What will that work look like? Will it be gig-based like Uber for robots? Will operators log in, take assignments, get paid per task? And more importantly, will it be local or outsourced to lower cost countries? That's the part that worries me more. Because if a robot in Los Angeles can be operated by someone overseas at a tenth of the cost, we'll see a new wave of economic displacement. It'll be digital outsourcing on steroids. So we'll need regulation, ethics, and maybe even a new category of digital labor rights. But no matter how the robotic economy evolves, one thing is certain: it all runs on energy. Electricity is the lifeblood of this new world. Every robot, every server, every AI brain, all of it consumes power, massive amounts of it. And now, not just electricity, but it needs clean electricity, because as robotics scale, the last thing we need is to be burning more fossil fuels to power them. That's why I believe renewable energy becomes more critical than ever before. Solar, storage, grid management, decentralized microgrids, that's not just sustainability anymore. That's survival. Without renewable energy, we can't sustain the robotics evolution, period. If you think about it, the future of robotics and AI depends on the same thing that the future of humanity does: how efficiently we generate, store, and distribute clean energy. Now, we can talk about robotics without touching on the darker side, because technology has two faces: the one that helps humanity and the one that can hurt it. Imagine someone programming a robot to rob a store, or worse, a robot army used for crime or warfare. That's not science fiction. That's a real possibility. We already struggle with cybersecurity. What happens when hackers can control physical machines remotely? We'll need new layers of digital fingerprints, robot registration, and laws that define robotic liability. Who's responsible when a robot commits a crime? The manufacturer? The owner? The programmer? These are all the ethical and legal questions that nobody's really prepared to answer yet. But this isn't the first time society's panicked about new technology. In the 90s, people thought computers would end the world. In 2000, the Y2K scared the shit out of everybody because they were stockpiling food, worrying planes would fall from the sky. And then nothing happened. We just adapted. And yet, as much as we adapt, we also forget that each wave of progress widens the gap between the rich and the poor. The wealthy automate faster, access more data, and own the tools that define the next era. Meanwhile, others struggle just to keep up. That's where I think the next great challenge lies: making sure robotics benefit everyone, not just the top 1%. Now, let's talk about who actually controls this future. Governments? Maybe. But if history tells us anything, it's that when government moves slow, corporations step in. Apple, Amazon, Meta, Tesla. They're not just companies anymore. They're ecosystems. And if we ever saw a scenario where government systems failed, who would fill the void? Probably big tech. You could have private healthcare through Apple, grocery delivery through Amazon, education powered by Meta's virtual world, transportation run by Tesla's robotaxis. That's corporate America in its truest form, a private sector utopia or dystopia, depending on your perspective. And you know what? It probably wouldn't happen until something major forced it. A global war, a market collapse, or a massive infrastructure breakdown. But even then, we'd rebuild, probably stronger, but also more dependent on tech than ever before. There's also been talk, like Bill Gates' proposal, of taxing robots to fund a universal basic income. In theory, that sounds great. But look at how government programs already operate. Social Security, Medicare, SNAP. The systems are bloated and inefficient. Would a robot tax actually reach the people who need it? Or would it just become another line item on a politician's campaign flyer? I think if we want to offset the economic impact of automation, it shouldn't come from government. It should come from the companies profiting from it. A shared prosperity model, maybe even tied to the productivity of robotic labor. The real issue isn't the robots. It's how we integrate them. If we go full AI autonomy, removing human control entirely, we risk losing accountability, empathy, and adaptability. But if we tether robotics to human oversight, think AI assistance with a person guiding, monitoring, or training it, we get the best of both worlds, precision and responsibility. A tethered society keeps people in control, maintains jobs, and balances progress with safety. And that's not some abstract idea. It's already happening in industries like aviation and medicine, where automation assistance, but humans remain the final decision makers. The model could extend into manufacturing, construction, logistics, everywhere, technically. And honestly, that's what gives me hope. A future where humans don't vanish from the equation, but evolve alongside technology. Of course, as robotics take over more physical tasks, we'll face new challenges like health. If everything becomes automated, we will move less. Will obesity rise even higher? Probably. That's where better food systems and preventative healthcare have to come into play. Cleaner, locally produced food, reduced waste, fewer fast food chains, and maybe even some form of required exercise, not as punishment, but public health infrastructure built into our daily lives. Because at the end of the day, a robotic society isn't about machines. It's about maintaining the humanity that created them. If we get this right, we could see the start of the first utopia-style society. Sustainable, efficient, balanced. But if we let greed and fear lead the way, we could just as easily fall into collapse. A society divided by wealth, ruled by automation, and stripped of purpose. We've seen this pattern before. After 9/11, flying changed forever, and we will never forget. A single event reshaped global travel, security, and freedom. If something similar happens with robotics or AI, a catastrophic misuse or disaster, the government's response will be immediate and strict. So maybe the better question isn't, are we entering the robotics era? Maybe it's, are we ready for what comes after? Because robots are coming. AI is here. And the foundation that supports both, energy, is what will determine whether this future empowers us or enslaves us. So let's build it wisely. If you've made it this far, thank you. I know this was a long one, but this stuff matters because whether you're a business owner, a tradesperson, or just someone trying to understand what's happening in the world, the robotics era will touch all of us. If you believe in keeping technology human and energy renewable, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and share your thoughts down in the comments. I want to know what you think. And if you're interested in how renewable energy, solar, and battery systems fit into this next generation of technology, visit reinnovations.org. We have a great blog. I like to keep up to date, try and post once a week, because the future runs on energy, and energy starts here. I'm Dale with Renewable Innovations. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.